Good morning. Good morning. And welcome to Coppin State University's beautiful campus. I am Tammi Thomas, a proud mother of a female nuclear electronics technician serving in the Navy. Go Navy! Governor Moore's not here, right? And I am TEDCO's Chief Development and Marketing Officer. On behalf of TEDCO, thank you for being here with us today. As the video explained, we at TEDCO are on a mission to create a more promising tomorrow for Maryland, fostering communities and supporting the growth of our state's innovation ecosystem. Just as TEDCO is working towards a better tomorrow, I have no doubt that all of us present here today are doing the same. We are living in our truth and our purpose, dedicating our time and the energy that's necessary to take the steps towards a more equitable ecosystem that our children and our grandchildren can benefit from. Like my daughter, who's 20 years old, serving in the Navy. There's a theme today, I'm sorry. As such, we are excited to work with you for change, success, and the chance to build a resilient innovation ecosystem for all. To create this change, we are here to address the reality Black women face when creating and growing a business. While starting a business can be a challenge for the masses, as we know, when paired with the daunting reality Black women face, the obstacles can seem overwhelming and insurmountable. For instance, one of the most common challenges female founders face is access to capital. According to the Fearless Fund, despite actively seeking funding, less than 2% of venture capital dollars go to Black entrepreneurs, with Black women receiving less than 0.39%. This equated to $1 billion of the $288 billion deployed by venture capitalist investors in 2022. Yes, one of $288 billion. Making matters even more difficult, a Black woman's voice is rarely heard when making decisions on how capital is invested in startups. After all, as CNN pointed out, only 3% of investment partner positions are held by Black people. It is stats like these that drive us to work together for solutions and produce new opportunities like the programs of support that TEDCO recently unveiled, including the Cultivate Maryland initiative and the Institute for Women Entrepreneur Excellence, a federally recognized program run by Major General Dr. Linda Singh with support from Wells Fargo and the T. Rowe Price Foundation. For those of us present, we know these are more than stats. They are obstacles repeatedly faced by the underserved founders who we know and respect. I won't shy away from the truth. Lord knows, y'all know I'm from Alabama. I will not shy away from the truth. Montgomery, Alabama at that. So that Alabama State in the house. Another HBCU. Not bringing any chairs, but I won't shy away from the truth. There is a lot of work to be done. But today's event is a great step forward. The conversations that will develop from this event are sure to drive us towards a more equitable future for all. To begin our dialogue, I am honored to introduce our first speaker, Coppin State University's president, Anthony Jenkins. Not done yet. Give me 2 more seconds as he walks to the stage. The 8th president of Coppin State University and a well-respected leader across the landscape of higher education, Anthony is carrying the university through an unprecedented era of great transformation, including the addition of new cutting-edge academic programs, increased enrollment, retention, student success, and historic fundraising and research. His commitment to social change and community engagement drives his successful leadership efforts. Please join me in giving a warm, enthusiastic welcome to the CEO of this beautiful campus, President Anthony Jenkins.
Good morning. How's everybody doing? Great. Tammi, thank you for that. That was incredible. I was sitting back here listening to her. I got hype. Well, listen, it is great to have all of you all on our wonderful campus, to all of our friends, our alumni, faculty, staff, and my university administration who are here. Thank you for being here, and to our distinguished guests, welcome to the beautiful campus of Coppin State University. I want to take a moment before I say a few words to acknowledge Speaker Adrienne Jones, who's also with us today. Speaker, Madam Speaker. And later this morning, we will also have Delegate Vanessa Atterbeary with us as well. So we're excited to have their presence on our campus, and they are doing incredible things for our state and for all of us. And we want to thank them for their leadership. I also want to acknowledge our panelists who will speak today, who will, I think, enlighten all of us on some very important information. I want to take a moment to thank Mr. Troy Stovall, CEO of TEDCO, and his entire team for partnering with Coppin as we showcase today's Black Female Founders Venture Capital Forum. This is going to be an incredible event. And I also want to acknowledge and thank Stephanie Hall, who is my Chief Government and Legislative Affairs Officer, who helped with the coordination of putting on today's event. So thank you, Stephanie, as well. You know, today's forum promises to be a profound display of intellectual Black excellence that will be empowering and inspiring. This forum and the work of TEDCO is closely aligned with the mission and purpose of Coppin State University. See, at Coppin, we educate a diverse, multicultural, multi-generational student population that comes from 35 states, the District of Columbia, and 30 countries to study, live, and earn a degree right here in West Baltimore. In fact, 70% of our graduates upon graduation remain right here in the state of Maryland, and 50% of our graduates remain in Baltimore City. And so we are excited about today because we know what the possibilities are. And as we're talking about women and the power of women, I cannot mention that Coppin today is at a 3-to-1 ratio. And so women at Coppin, women are doing their thing. And so, you know, also here at Coppin, we are utilizing technology and innovative teaching to expand the boundaries of learning. And with the lead of our Center for Strategic Entrepreneurship, which is housed in our nationally ranked College of Business, we are working, I know you'd like that, Dean Gregory. We are working to make sure that an entrepreneurial curriculum is spread throughout our campus, because we know far beyond the halls of the business school, creating an entrepreneurial spirit is important. The student who is majoring in dance may one day want to open their own dance studio. The student who is majoring in psychology may one day want to open their own practice. We understand the importance of entrepreneurship, and that is why we are committed to making sure that all of our students understand that core foundation and adding it to their educational journey. And we also are taking note of how it is important to not only help them realize their vision, but also how to find and position themselves for financial investment and support because that is significant to getting any venture off the ground. So partnerships like this are important. And Troy, again, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your leadership and what you're doing not only here at Coppin, but across our great state. And so together, today, let's continue to have meaningful conversations. Let's continue to nurture potential, transform lives, and motivate the future generation of entrepreneurship in the great state of Maryland. It is my hope that you have a wonderful event on the beautiful campus of Coppin State University. Thank you, and as I always say, go Eagles.
Thank you, President Jenkins, and thank you again for graciously allowing us to host the beginnings of this important conversation at your beautiful campus. Our next guest is an inspiration to us all. She has shattered 2 glass ceilings as Maryland's first Black and first female House Speaker. Give it up. That's right, we're about to have a love fest on Black women today. Amen? So far, she has led the Maryland House of Delegates in passing some of the most momentous bills in a generation, while diligently fighting for justice and equity, a fight that can be seen through her leadership in the creation of the 2021 Racial and Economic Justice Agenda. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the Honorable Maryland House Speaker, Adrienne Jones.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you, Tammy and Mindy, for inviting me to be part of TEDCO's Black Female Founders Venture Capital Forum. It's a lot of titles because you do a whole lot. And thank you, President Jenkins, for hosting us today at Coppin State University. I never get tired of seeing a room packed full of Black women entrepreneurs. If you're a Black woman entrepreneur, raise your hand. I'm so proud to be with you to celebrate the wonderful talent that you all have in this room. Unfortunately, we know the challenges and barriers that Black women face as entrepreneurs are real. Black women founders trail behind their counterparts in a number of areas, from access to capital and mentorship to startup success rates. We need to be doing more, and we're going to start that work today. TEDCO understands its urgency. They launched the Open Institute for Black Women Entrepreneurial Excellence, the leading women's program, and today they've gathered over 300 entrepreneurs to build a community of support and success. You're going to have a candid dialogue on how to better work together. You're going to learn from 2 amazing panels made up of regional founders and venture capitalists ready to help you find success. And you're going to hear from one of my members, Delegate Vanessa Atterbeary, who chairs in Annapolis the House Ways and Means Committee. I'm so excited for the work that's going to happen in this room today. I'm excited that you have put yourselves out there and taken the first step to discover new opportunities, grow your networks, and learn from your peers. You represent the best Maryland has to offer, and we're counting on you. So have a great day, and thank you for inviting me to be part of it. We can't wait to see what you have next. And fortunately, I'm glad it's being videoed because I had to multitask and be in Baltimore County, speaking for another group. So if it wasn't for that, I would remain. But I know you got it. Thank you.
And now I have the pleasure of introducing another powerhouse, Delegate Vanessa Atterbeary, Chair of the Maryland House Ways and Means Committee. That's right, don't forget, this is a love fest. Delegate Atterbeary has been recognized by numerous publications and organizations. Her work includes the effective passage of landmark legislation, as well as House Bill 781, TEDCO's Equitech Growth Fund and Commission, and so much more. In addition to her work with the Maryland House of Delegates, Chairwoman Atterbeary exercises her entrepreneurial spirit and law expertise through her work with KRA Corporation, a business committed to preparing job seekers for the competitive workforce and global economy. Please join me in welcoming the magnificent Delegate Vanessa Atterbeary.
Wow, good morning. I need that every day, okay? Look, good morning. I am very excited to be here, and I had some remarks, but based on that dynamic panel, I've reworked them a little bit because I have some comments, and so I'll get to the policy in a minute. But I'm Delegate Atterbeary. I grew up in Howard County, born and raised, raising my 3 beautiful children there as a Black single mom. Grayson is about to be 12. He just won a Super Bowl, and he's on the Maryland All-Star football team. So excited about that. I have a 10-year-old son, and when I was running in 2014, I found out I was pregnant with my daughter, and she is going on 9, but really going on 29. So I want to thank TEDCO for the opportunity to just talk to you for a couple of minutes. Worked real closely with TEDCO and their leader, Troy, and I'll get to that in a minute, this last session. But I just want to touch on a couple of things that the panel said. Black medical representation. I am intentional because my parents were intentional when I was growing up, and times were different then. I'm that old where you went to one provider. Now you go and there's a team of people and you might see different people each time. So when I had my first son, I said, I need to find providers where there is a Black doctor there so that my children can see that. I want to take my kids to a Black dentist so that they can see that. And I recall going when my oldest, who's about to be 12, was a baby. He was having some breathing problems, and I went in there, and I'm in my Uggs, and I'm in my sweats, and I'm going in there. And this woman yelled at me, screamed at me like I didn't know what I was doing, like I was uneducated. And I went out there and advocated for myself. I said, don't you ever have me in there with that woman again. And it's still in my records. When I'm making my appointments, they say, you're not supposed to see her. I said, that is absolutely right. I also want to talk about bias was mentioned when you're trying to get capital. We're talking about implicit bias, which exists everywhere. It exists in policing. It exists because white people aren't used to you being in that space. And so they have to get used to you being in that space. And they will get used to you being in that space. And the word struggle was used. I don't like the word struggle. I like the word challenges, right? We all have these challenges that we face. But one of the panelists mentioned she knew that she was going to get past that and she was going to get to that yes. That's how I approach politics. I didn't just run for office. I lost my first election. I had people coming to me telling me, you should not run for that. You should run for this position over here. You need to wait your turn. I said, no, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not going to run for anything different. I know what I want to do. And now those people haven't been elected, and I'm chair of Ways and Means Committee in the House of Delegates. So I want to talk about policy, and this is a really great time for us. It's a great time for us because you already met the Speaker of the House, Adrienne Jones, our first woman and our first Black speaker in the House of Delegates in Maryland. We have 6 committees in the House of Delegates. 2 of them are chaired by Black people. Myself and the Economic Matters Committee is chaired by Delegate C.T. Wilson from Charles County. The Ways and Means Committee oversees, if you don't know, education policy, revenues, taxes, election law, and gaming. And so that's what we deal with in our committee. And last year, TEDCO, I think Troy and his team lived in the committee because they were advocating so hard for the Equitech Growth Fund, which essentially says that the governor between 2025 and 2033 has to put $5 million in the annual budget so TEDCO can help diverse tech companies grow and get started, right? Every year. And the reason that it's important that we have a Black governor, that we have a Black Speaker of the House, that there is a Black chair of the Ways and Means Committee is so that we can pass legislation like this. Because, you know, it wasn't seen through the lens of the former chair and the former speaker. So this is a great time to advocate from a policy perspective. And I want to say, be creative in the advocacy, right? When we talk about education, you all are the type of folks that our girls need to see and need to hear from, right? We educate, we regulate policy. We should be teaching in the schools financial literacy. We should be talking about venture capitalists. This shouldn't be something they're learning about in high school, in 12th grade, or after. They should know what those words are. And so these are things that we can legislate. Everyone in here, raise your hand if you know who your state representative is. That's a good amount of people. So I want to challenge, if you don't know who your state representative is, you can go on the Maryland General Assembly website and you can figure it out. We are very accessible, particularly if you live in Baltimore City. They will get back to you. I know all the state delegates and state senators, and you can start advocating for your positions. If you have a bill idea, come to us. Just make an appointment. You can probably get to know your delegate or your senator so well that you can get their phone number and text them, right? Because this is a good time for us to advocate for medical issues in our community, for education policy, and to help individuals grow their business, individuals that look like us. So with that, I will wrap up. I only had a couple minutes, but enjoy your day. And if anybody wants to talk to me after, I will be in the back for a few minutes. And I want to thank Coppin for having us here today. Thank you.
Another round of applause. All right, I am so sorry, we're 1 minute behind. Thank you, Troy, and thank you to our panelists for their insights on supporting our startup community. Before I bring up our last speaker of the day, I want to congratulate the winners from Monday's HBCU pitch event at Coppin State University. In third place, winning $1,000, we had Javion Kendrick with Aid Smart. Now, VCs, we don't want y'all to go anywhere. We know that you're going to be putting money into our Black female founders that you heard here today, but we got these student babies that you're going to be investing in too. In second place, winning $1,500, we had Aaliyah Clinton with Monet's Engineered Materials. And in first place, winning $2,500, we had Matthew Featherstone with Hiatus Cheesecake. Now, our last guest for today is another familiar TEDCO face, Omar Muhammad. Omar serves as the chair of TEDCO's board of directors. He is invested in building Maryland's innovation ecosystem, serving as the director for the Entrepreneurial Development and Assistance Center at the Morgan State University. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Omar Muhammad.
All right, so I'm gonna start off by saying, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. All right, so the views expressed are not necessarily the views expressed by TEDCO or Morgan State University. These are my views. So how many people still have questions? All right, so we definitely need to have this again. So like Tammy, I have a daughter in the Navy as well. Go Navy! Go Navy! Go Navy. So for me, a couple things. You know, Troy and I often have conversations about TEDCO. We may be the first, and we may be the last resort for individuals to get the money. But we're in between. So the investors, the ladies that have received funding, you know, congratulations. And for those who are looking to get funding, you know, we look forward to working with you. So a couple observations for me from just not the panel, but just in general about TEDCO. I've seen TEDCO over the last 8 years when I came on board has grown. When I first came onto TEDCO, I said to the individuals that, hey, we're not supporting black folk. That's the east side of me saying this. All right? We're not supporting black folk. We're not supporting women. And now, 8 years later, who said that? I think it was Stephanie said that. Why are we still having these conversations? We shouldn't be having these conversations. But since we are having these conversations, let's continue to have the conversations, but let's continue to go to action as well. So, you know, I think education is key. You know, we need to understand what a Series A, Series B, all that language. We need to understand that when we're going after the investment dollars. The other thing, too, is, and it's just for black folk, you know, this just, again, the views, these are not TEDCO's or Morgan views, just for black folk. Why are we still having a conversation about investing in us? This is 2024. I mean, not 2024. Y'all know what I meant. Like I be telling my daughters, y'all know what I meant. You know your name, girl. Come here. We in 2023, y'all. We should figure out a way. How can we create and not to take anything from TEDCO, how can we create a black fund? Ironically, we did have a black fund at TEDCO, but we now call it, what we call it, Troy? The Builder Fund? What? Oh, it's a self-impact fund now. The Social Impact Fund. You know, so how can we create that? I mean, if we're really serious about investing, we need to go where we're appreciated. If the VCs are not appreciating us, let's appreciate and create our own fund. All right? So let me wrap it up with this. You know, I do want to thank the TEDCO team because we have a dynamic team from the staff and from the board. You know, Jeff is here from the, raise your hand, Jeff. Yeah, Jeff is here from the board. He's our treasurer. And all the staff members of TEDCO, can you please stand real quick? I just wanted to, I know Tammy, I'm not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Let's give them a hand. So the staff, you know, and the ecosystem. You know, we have a number of individuals over here that can support your business as well. You know, so reach out to those individuals. So we're in 2023. I think I have 2 more years on the board. We can't be having these same conversations about not investing in women. And let me be real clear, investing in black women. We cannot have the same conversation. So thank you all for coming out. You know, thank Coppin State. Thank Dr. Lucas and Tammy. She's coming up behind me. You know, thank them for pulling this together. But what's next? You know, we can't just stop here and have the feel-goods. Right now, y'all feel good, I feel good. But what happens after the feel-good moment dies out? So let's figure out a way to keep this up. So with that said, Tammy's behind me. Thank you all. Thank you, Coppin, you know, another HBCU in the house. And thank everybody for coming out and look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Omar, for your inspirational words and dedication to Maryland's ecosystem. Before we conclude today's event, I would like to thank my colleagues again at TEDCO. Can you all please stand in recognition? I would like to give a special shout out to TEDCO's Senior Director of Social Impact Funds, John Luke Park. It is through John Luke's management that these investments have been able to support so many entrepreneurs in Maryland. And John Luke, we totally love where your heart is. We love you. And that's coming from a sister from Alabama. And of course, today would not have been possible without the support of TEDCO's secret sauce, our development and marketing team, Cassie, Rachel, Dejana. Thank you all for your work in paving a path towards a greater, more equitable ecosystem in Maryland. Finally, thank you to all of our media collaborators and exhibitors, as well as you, for joining us today as we work to create a community of support and success. Although today's event is at its end and we have some light refreshments, and light refreshments is all relative because I'm from Alabama, so I like to eat. This conversation is not over, as Omar has stated. It's just begun. In fact, the Closing the Gap, Growing and Scaling Black-Owned Businesses event will continue the discussion virtually at 3:30 p.m. today. Please also be on the lookout for a survey about today's forum where you can give feedback, access photo and video content, and provide input on the creation of a virtual community committed to enacting change. We plan to have this as a series. It won't just stop here in Maryland. We know that Maryland is leading innovation in the world, that we are putting money into Black and brown people and women, but we don't want it to just stay here in Maryland. So this will be a road trip around the country and globally to make sure that our sisters are getting the money and investments and the support that they deserve.